The number of needles means how many are present within the cartridge. The more needles that are present within the configuration, the more pigment that will be implanted. The amount of pigment embedded multiplies the more needles that are present. This means that we can saturate the skin more quickly with less passes, therefore there is less trauma. Although this can be ideal when we are faced with challenging skin types, we must be aware that the area will saturate quickly, so we need to constantly assess our results before we continue working in order to control the amount of pigment that's implanted. Needle configuration means how the needles are grouped together inside the cartridge. There are a number of ways needles can be configured. The way the needles are configured can affect our control and accuracy. It affects the way that pigment is delivered and how the needles hit and penetrate the skin. One round-lined needles, i.e. single needles, will provide you with a lot of control with accuracy when working, but lack of control with depth. The skin's epidermis thickness varies from client to client, and 1R round needles have little resistance and can pull and snag the skin, which can cause significant trauma if used on the wrong skin type or used incorrectly. They are ideal for precision work, but should be used with caution and by experienced artists when being used to shade the skin. A multiple configured RL needle can pack in pigment very quickly and create a more saturated result rather than pixelated. When used correctly and on the right skin type, they can be used to shade an area very quickly and in less passes than a 1RL single needle. Round shaded needles are multiple needles that are loosely grouped together, meaning there is more space between the needles and therefore they don't pack in as much pigment as quickly, making them ideal for shading and blending. They're a good choice of needle when wanting to create a more subtle result or when working with sensitive and delicate skin types. Magnum needles are 2 stacked and straight rows of needles. They are great for blending and shading and are also ideal for delivering a lot of colour very, very quickly. They usually have a long taper. They come in both a curved and stacked structure. Curved Magnum needles allow for softer entry to the skin and therefore risk less trauma. This means that the end needles in the configuration are shorter and they create a curved shape. Stacked Magnum needles are configured more tightly and deliver more intense results again very quickly. Use these needles with caution as they can be traumatic to use. A U-shaped needle is similar to a flat needle. However, the outer needles become shorter and create the unique U shape. This creates a softer entry to the skin than a flat needle and can be great for creating the same desired effect as a flat needle, but without causing as much trauma.